Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. Today's Ramble is sponsored by Wellstoned Landscapes. From lawn to luxury, creating outdoor elegance. Wellstoned Landscapes covers most areas of Yorkshire. If you mention the Ramble, you'll receive 10% off any work. Call Paul or find him on Facebook in the details below.
Like and subscribe to Blaze Ramble.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is already your countdown to kick off for not Oxford, like it says there. Not Oxford. Oh, no, that makes me worry. That makes me worry big time about... Oh, no, let me check. I bet I know what's happened here. I bet I know what's happened here. Yes. Okay, this is going to be pretty bad. But it's fine. We're going to work through it, aren't we? We're going to work. In fact, I'm going to talk to you while I'm trying to make the changes. So I want to know how you're feeling. I'll tell you a little bit about my day today. I think I'm okay to share this. You'll not see anything online today, but we were lucky enough to go down to the Taylor event put on by Sheffield United and Midnight today and get some footage for the channel. It's probably fair to say it wasn't smooth sailing, which won't be a shock to anybody in terms of clean audio and getting things sorted out. So I've been scrambling in the background at the moment, actually, as we speak. Before I came on air, I was scrambling around trying to sort out the audio issues. But I've not been able to do that as yet. I'm sure I will do close to the time. Let me just get this one sorted first, because that then at least gives you an idea of what we're looking at in terms of the countdown to kickoff. I always enjoy these. We're looking forward to Mansfield, by the way. And obviously, in terms of the Taylor thing, we will have some stuff coming to the channel. Please keep engaged for that. But I always look forward to these FA Cup games. A lot of people will say they're nothing games, and I understand that thought process behind it. But I look forward to them because for me, it's a chance to see players who you wouldn't normally see. And I think it's a real opportunity now, particularly in the crucial stage of January that we're in. I think it's a real opportunity for some players to either make their claim for a first team spot or they fight for the future. And that's how it should be, really. There's also an argument, which I was having this conversation today. I was with Bald and Brilliantly, and I was with Batman Lou. And the conversation, the question that I posed was, do you go super strong for this game because we missed out on the Oxford game? The disappointment about the Oxford game was we're full of momentum at the moment. And because we're full of momentum, it's disappointing that we didn't get to ride that momentum into Oxford. Do you now go strong against Mansfield with a rested team to keep that momentum going and we bounce into Charlton then? I think there's more of an argument now to have that conversation. Has that changed? Yes, it should have changed. Okay, so that's the first bit done that I needed to do. So I'm interested to hear what your teams are going to be. And I'm going to tell you my team anyway. I'm going to scramble around again in the background to get it sorted out for you while we're talking. But I thought originally there'll be a lot of changes for this team. And I think there might be. I still think there might be. But there are other things to consider out there, like we've just talked about. So first question to you, I suppose. Against Mansfield in the Cup on Sunday, which I'll be attending, would you prefer to go strong, or would you prefer to go a little bit more, well, the league is the most important thing, and of course it is. Let's be honest, Sheffield United, spoiler alert, are not going to win the FA Cup. I don't mean to upset anybody. I don't mean to put anybody's nose out of joint by saying that. We're not. And we know, I said that flippantly, we also know what a good cup run can do for momentum. So there's always a counter argument to everything, and that's what we're about, isn't it? We want different opinions on stuff, but I think here it is a real. The Oxford game not being played and not allowing us to continue that momentum has thrown a real spanner in the works. So I'm really interested to hear which way you would like to go now, and has that changed since prior to the Oxford cancellation? So for me, I'm still sticking with my team, and I'm almost ready to show you my team actually, because I'm doing a lot of work in the background, and you'll have to just bear with me a second. But Will Wilder go with a heavily changed team? We'll have to wait and see. You'll have to wait and see what I think. But again, Mansfield. Thing is, Mansfield have been on a really good run. If we'd have played Mansfield 4 weeks ago, then we could have put the AI team out and given them a game, and that is saying something. But at the moment, they've just had some really good wins. I know they beat Barnsley, because I keep my eye on them sort of results. But I think they've got 3 wins in a row. In fact, I'll be able to tell you. In a minute. No, I won't, because I ain't updated that either. What an idiot. What am I doing here? What am I playing at? So we'll go with my predicted lineup and the Gaffer's team as well, that I think the Gaffer will put out. Oh, don't you just love being so organised? I tell you what, I'm going to tell you a bit of a story now while I buy time. But I was getting prepared for this event today, last night. And I've got my mic. When I say I've got all the gear and no idea, I've got some of the gear and no idea. So I got all my stuff prepared, make sure everything was charged. Well, microphone needed a firmware update, which I assume is like making sure it's at the latest, top notch, whatever it is. I don't know. It needed an update. I updated it. Guess what happened? It breaks. Great. That's brilliant going into a really important day for us. So we're going to be interviewing Callum O'Hare. No microphone. Love it. Spoke to John Asquith, absolute legend, my business coach. He says, come down, speak to our social media team. We'll get you a mic sorted. They did. They were brilliant. It died 3 minutes into the interview with Cal. So I now have to recover the interview info from that. But it wouldn't be the Blades Ramble, would it, if anything had run smoothly? So I've got a few of the bits that I've pre-prepared. I've not got everything. Apologies for my tardiness. I also had my haircut while I were at Taylor's, who do a fantastic job, by the way. But for some reason, it's made me look even thinner on top than I think I am. So absolutely top class they were, by the way, today. But yeah, it just reality smacks you in the face sometimes, doesn't it? I've made a song about bald and brilliantly. I'll have to make one about my sen soon. Just way out the brilliant. Anyway, predicted lineup. Has that started? Did anybody notice that I was stalling for time a little bit there? Because I wasn't really honest. Predicted lineup. This is where I think we could go with against Mansfield. I think he goes strong. Couldn't remember what I'd put, but I think he goes strong. And I think, do I think he plays this against Mansfield? Do I actually think he plays this team? What have I said I'd play? This is what I'd play. This is what I would play. I don't think he plays that team against Mansfield. I think I think he makes big changes here because it's a laying down of the gauntlet to the fringe players. And yes, Gus Hamer is included in this team of fringe players. He's not a fringe player, obviously, but he's struggling to get into the first 11 at the moment. I'm going with Adam Davis in goal, giving Coops, wrap him in that cotton wool, wrap him in the bubble wrap, just let him sit and chill at home and, heal up if reports are to be believed. He is our number one by a distance, and Adam Davis is number 2 for a reason. So we give Adam Davis a run out against the League One side who we should be comfortable against. Nobody has seen or heard from Jamie Shackleton in months, certainly not outside of the club, and obviously those that don't know him, but if he is anywhere near fit, and I know he's not been in the squad, but I think the last update from the press conference was that he hadn't done enough to get into it. It wasn't a fitness concern, I don't think. I don't think he'd done enough from what Wilder was saying. Since then, there may have been injury issues that haven't been disclosed. Because he's not directly involved in the first team a lot, it's not a question that's asked very often of him. So I would be playing, if Jamie Shackleton is available, I will be playing Jamie Shackleton at right back. If not, somebody's mentioned Polendikov. I think I'm gonna read some comments as we get to them, as we normally do. What we've got to be wary of, if we're trying to get some of these players out of the club, whether that be permanently or on loan, and you might think that Polendikov at 18, we paid a bit of money for him, let's get him out on loan and just test the waters and see if he can rise a little bit in his levels. And that's sensible. If he's played for another club, and I don't know if he has, to be honest, if he's played for another club this season and then he plays for Sheffield United, he can't then play for a third club. So there may be some players like Nils Zetterstrom who are ineligible to play for a third club in the season. I don't know whether Nils is in that situation, for example. So I've played it a little bit safe here with some of my picks. I'm going Jamie Shackleton at right back if available. I think it's, whatever happens, I think it's crucial that we give Femi a rest. There have been some reports that he is out with a knock. Not out with a knock, but he's playing through a knock on his knee. So rest and recovery for Femi Siriki, who does not get a break in 90 minutes of football most weeks. He's been fantastic, hasn't he? Reports are, and we can talk about this tonight if you want, I'm only here till 7:30, then I'm jumping over to football therapy on Ramble FC. But we can talk about Kijani Hoover, who is rumoured to be joining Sheffield United imminently. Yes, it's the January transfer window. That word is back, imminent. I'm also going with the centre-back pairing, the speed demons of Mark McGuinness and Ben Mee. Yes, these are slow players, particularly Mark McGuinness. Ben Mee, if he's fit, has to come back into this side here because he is now battling with Tyler Bindon to be starting second centre-back or left-hand side centre-back. Mark McGuinness is not going to get in front of Japhet Tanganga on the right. He's just not. And nor should he. And that's more because of how well Japhet's playing rather than how, anything that McGuinness has done wrong. Ben Mee needs this game time to obviously get rid of the rust. He was playing very well before he got injured. A lot of people would still have him as the ideal partner for Japhet Tanganga, but Tyler Bindon's done really well in his time in the team, and to have some fierce competition there at left centre back would be really good for us. Harrison Burrows, I'm going with on the left hand side. I still think McCallum is in front of him, if I'm honest. So if you see a player in this 11 other than one, which we'll come to, then I think they're not quite ready to be in the absolute starting 11. So Harrison Burrows gets another opportunity, probably for 90 minutes, I would say. Let's give him 90 full minutes and see what he can do. See what his engine's like. He's not played full games for a long time. I know that we rotate him and McCallum, but I would go with Harrison Burrows at left back. Samari has done really well. Really well. I think even if Peck is fit to play, I'd rather he came on for a cameo just to sort of grease the wheels a little bit rather than start at a game against Mansfield when he's not, and just get him back into the rhythm of it. I will be resting Gyro here. And I can't remember my thought process behind Ollie Arblaster starting, but I'd like to see how long he goes. I'd like to see how long he can go. And then do we bring a Tom Davies on for Ollie Arblaster? Maybe just after half time or something. I'm just thinking about getting minutes into Arblaster. I think he's definitely in contention for starting 11. But I'd like to see him get more minutes, but at our pace. Particularly now if Siddy's back fit again, if Tom Davies is back in contention. I think Samari could do 90 minutes here. We don't need to expend any of our prime first team players. Siddy Peck don't need to come on the pitch for me unless you want to loosen him up and get him back in the rhythm before we play Charlton. Gyro certainly doesn't need to touch the grass for me because he's played a lot of minutes. He's guaranteed to start against Charlton. I don't think he needs to. Now, you could play Andre Brooks on the right. They've had a good enough rest. Again, this Oxford cancellation plays into this thought process. You could play Andre Brooks on the right. You could also go with Chong and see if Chongi can stake a claim for a starting spot. Is Ogbenny anywhere near fitness? We'll find out tomorrow because Wilder will be doing his presser, which we'll be covering as always on Hot Off the Presser. But can Chongi give Brooks, Wilder, a decision over whether he gets in front of Brooksy? I think the only argument I would say about Brooks is we've often talked about his consistency or lack of consistency and his more minutes going to benefit him. He's still got another 6-day break, then Anti to Charlton. So there's the potential that Brooks may start, and it might not be a full change like we're talking about. But it's neither in or there, really. But it's going to be interesting to see who he opts for on that right-hand side. I think this is one of the more obvious picks will be that Gus Hamer plays on the left. I would be surprised if this didn't happen. We are trying to get Gus into this side, understandably so. Callum O'Hare is having a fantastic season, and he's in the team on merit. And to be keeping a player of Gus's quality out speaks volumes. But Gus has to take this opportunity. This doesn't mean if Gus has a barnstormer here, then he'll be in for Charlton and Callum O'Hare will be dropped. It might mean, though, that Gus gets in the side elsewhere. So I think Gus starts this game, and I think he has to dictate this game. And I think he could well, to be honest. It could end up being a real interesting scoreline, this. And up front, a striker's 3 and 4 for me at the minute, and I don't mean that in a nasty way, but I think Bamford has cemented himself as our number 1 striker, and I think Tom Cannon has done absolutely everything he can to become striker number 2, and I think he's there on merit as well at the moment. So this is an opportunity now for Danny Ings, who hasn't had many opportunities. I don't think personally. My dad were talking about it last night on Talking Sense. He doesn't think he's really had no, he didn't say this, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. Not that he hasn't had a fair shake, but he's probably had the most limited minutes of the 4 strikers without any known injury issues. So, if you're making a substitution, Ings is not going to be the first man on in most circumstances. And it's an interesting one, that, because that's maybe how the hierarchy is viewed of strikers at the moment. Bamford, Cannon, Campbell and Ings. Well, this is an opportunity for both strikers. And they're both very good strikers. Let's not get this twisted. Tyrese Campbell's been disappointing, and nobody will be more disappointed than Ty in his own form. But they're still very good strikers, and particularly against League One opposition, you'd fancy them maybe to fill their boots a little bit. Or they've certainly the opportunity to do that. That's no disrespect to Mansfield, but there are levels in this game, and they are playing well at the moment, Mansfield. They will come, and the FA Cup always gives the underdogs a bit of momentum. I would find it a little bit trickier if we were going to Mansfield, but the fact that it's at Bramall Lane, and you look at that team is our second team, and look how strong it is. That second team there, I think, survives in the Championship, which tells you how strong our squad. I think it probably finishes mid to lower table in the Championship, and that is our second string. And that tells you how decent we are in terms of squad depth now. So I think there's a rhetoric going around that we need certain players. And I think if we get Hoover in at right back, do we need... We were talking about me and my dad last night, because there's been a misconception. And I don't think it was a misconception, because I think a while ago we did need more than we've got. But Samari's coming to his own a little bit now. Other people are taking on... Tyler Binden's stepped up. We don't need a centre-half anymore. There's a lot of players that are sort of rising to the occasion of the challenges that Wilder's laying down to them. So I think this would be my team. And again, it's very subjective, and this is more flippant than any other team selection when it's in the cup, isn't it? I'm just going to have a little look and see if that is the actual team. That I think I've lined it up wrong in terms of what team I thought Wilder might play. Yeah, I don't think he's going to play that. That's the team I think he might put out against Charlton, if I'm honest. So I won't put that back on screen. But I think I've got it down as this formation for me, this team. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with my selection here? I'm going to see if I can just get this on screen as well, just while we're talking, because it's something else I always ask you, and I haven't. I didn't have it ready because I was scrambling around, stressing about this audio. So let me pull this through and see if I can get any more bites. I want your score predictions. That's what I'm going to be pulling up. I want to know what you think we will do against Mansfield. How do you think this team goes against Mansfield? I think I've probably undersold it here a little bit. I think we could go a lot better than this. It's very unpredictable, the cup. We don't know what team we're going to put out either. So we have to be, it's a swinging, sweeping statement, isn't it? But let me get this up and see if I can show you where I think it's going to be. So that's saved. And I think my score prediction is going to, oh, come on, it's going to be 3-1. 3-1 Blades. I think it's comfortable. I think even with, I think if we play a side like this with heavy rotation where players, particularly like you look at Shackleton is the glaring example, but like Chong hasn't played a lot of minutes recently. Danny Ings hasn't played a lot of minutes. Tyrese Campbell needs more minutes. Ben Mee just coming back. Adam Davis in goal. I think if we play this side, I'm comfortable that we still get a 3-1 victory. I think if we play something like, what were I going to say that Wilder played? And this is probably more my Charlton team, I think, but I'll do that prior to. If we play something like this, Sariki Tanganga, Bindon, McCallum, Riedeveld, Samari in there as well, Cal on the left, Cannon and Bamford up top, then you could be talking 5-0, and that's with all due respect to Mansfield. Have you seen this, by the way? Louis Reed, ex-Sheffield United boy, on the thumbnail. Sorry, Ian, he doesn't like it when I put ex-Blades on the thumbnail because he thinks it's a bit dodge. There's some sound issues. So, other people have got sound. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Right, I'm going to jump into some of your comments now. Let me know what you think. Bisto Brett says, evening, Jimmy. Let's hope we get some fringe players, some minutes, but not too many changes that disrupts momentum. Interesting. I know what you mean with disrupting momentum, but it's almost as if the game hasn't been played, isn't it, if you field a completely different team. So it's just an extended break is the way I see it, but I think the momentum's already been disrupted with Oxford. So some people will say, go with a strong team. You know, if we do put out our strongest side, or one of the strongest sides we can put out, and we beat them 4-5-0, then we're still bang up for Charlton, aren't we, the week after? So I think there's different reasons why you can argue the case. Some players we know were carrying knocks, so you clearly wouldn't risk them, but do you just give them a full set, which will almost be like 2 weeks off, won't it, for them? But does that disrupt momentum? I think there's an argument for both, isn't there, pal? Would you be adverse to giving Faxon a try out and a few of the academy lads a go? I would love to give Luke Faxon a go. I don't think he will. I think it's Adam Davis if the goalkeeper gets... I'll be shocked if it's not Adam Davis on Sunday. But that's what I think he'll do. Ontario Blazers, hi Jim. Here's my team for Sunday. Faxon, Ingot, nice. Polendikov, me, Zetterstrom, Burrows, Aston and Marsh, Ukaki on the right wing, Nachukwu on the left, Ings and Francis. I'm putting the player... Is that Marsh or Francis? I'm putting the players I want to loan in the shop window. It's a demo for the buyers. Interesting technique. I love that. So put the potential loan boys. As I said, I don't know about Zetterstrom and Polendikov in terms of whether they've played for other clubs this season. Because if they have, that would take them out of a loan move by playing for us. But I love the thought process of shop windowing some boys. That makes sense. That's another good way of looking at it. I would have put One in as a striker, but I think he'll be in Rotherham by the weekend. Up the Blades, up the worldwide Ramble. Like and subscribe. David Vinter says, taking the 6-year-old grandson for the first time. Brilliant, mate. That is what it's all about, isn't it? Not too loud, hopefully, and plenty of goals to get him hooked. He's got no choice anyway. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. Well, I am taking the girls as well. I know a few people that are taking their little ones. I think Mark Meldrew's taking his boy Rory. I think I'm really looking forward to it. Look, we tried to take the kids to the Oxford game, and that were a huge disappointment that it didn't turn out as we all wanted. But you know, it's one of them things, isn't it? And that will happen. That's just one of the pitfalls they've got to get used to in following Sheffield United. But yeah, I'll be there with my girls and my dad and my brother. Really looking forward to it. That's what it's about, isn't it, David? Just enjoying the day, and like you say, hopefully a few goals. Not too loud because the crowd won't be too big, I wouldn't have thought. I think we're also having a watch along on the channel. If anybody's interested in joining Jordan Motson and maybe Man Mountain, I don't want to commit anybody that I know. Jordan, we're going to speak to Man Mountain about it. We'll have to wait and see whether that comes to fruition. But all being well, we'll have a watch along on the channel for the game as well. Dave Morwood says, evening Jimmy and all the Ramblers. I hope to get to the end before the power cuts out. Up all the Rambles, up the Blades, up the positive 6. Like and subscribe. Hojo says, my team for Saturday is Faxon, youth team right back or Shackleton, McGuinness, me, Burrows, Blaster Samari, One, Chong, Ings and Campbell. Interesting. That's not too dissimilar at all from my team. I think there's only There's only One that's different, isn't there? And I've got Gus in instead of One. Nice, great mind. Oh, apart from Faxon as well. Ojo, great minds. Bryce says, welcome to the Ramble, folks. Please keep the chat clean. It's a family channel and no shouting. Many thanks and enjoy the stream and conversation. Thank you, Bry, keeping everybody in order as always. Say something about the January window, about players that we are planning for. It says Legion positivity. Legion of positivity. Say something about January window and about players that we're planning for. So we're clearly planning to sign Kijani Hoover. That is a signing that we've tried to sign him previously, and we spoke about this on the Ramble about, were it a year ago, 18 months ago? And we found out that he'd failed his medical. He was coming for a lot of money and he failed his medical. So a little bit about him that I know. I've not done any research properly on it. And we might do a 10-minute transfer when it's officially confirmed. But he's an attacking right back. For some time ago, he spent the season, a couple of seasons in the Championship with Stoke. It might have been a season and a half on loan from Wolves. He originally came from Liverpool. Pretty sure Wolves signed him for about 13.5 million quid to bring him from Liverpool. He's an attacking right back, as I say. He will get not too dissimilar from Siriki. I think he's probably not as quick, not as complete in the attacking sense, but probably a slightly better defender. But that's splitting hairs, really. I think he's in a similar mould to what we've got in Femi Siriki. And I like it. I like it as a signing. I honestly thought we were going to go for somebody like Harry Clark at Ipswich, where it would be a safer bet, not as exciting. And that's no disrespect to Harry Clark. We've had him here before. Did an okay job. I thought it was going to be a backup to Siriki, because what you don't want to do is stifle the development of one of your key young assets. So at this signing, it will be a real tough test for who's going to get in the side. What I do think as well is, for the fans and the team overall, rather than the individuals involved, it is better to have that high standard between the competition, and you don't really see much of a drop-off. So if Hoover starts, say Hoover signs in time for the weekend, if he starts against Mansfield, there's no great drop-off from Siriki starting the game. That's what we want to see. That's the levels that it's like when Gus replaces Callum O'Hare. Yes, they're different players, but you still know you've got quality coming on for quality. It's not like when we've seen in the past where players will come. I'm not going to name any names because I don't think it's fair, but when players come off in the past and you bring a substitute on, you know it's a clear downgrade. We've seen, in fact, an obvious example is when you lose Gyro at middle at field. Whoever you bring on to replace him can't do the same job that Gyro does at the moment, and I think that's obvious. And that's something that we're getting with Hoover. Is a direct Siriki competition, not just replacement, but direct competition for lads that can do a similar job. Scott says Davies, unfortunately, Plendikov, Bindon, Mark McGuinness, Burrows, Chong, Samari, Hampson. I think Hampson's out on loan, isn't he? I might be wrong. Might be back. Hamer, Ings, and Campbell. Mark Shaw says, evening, Jim. Personally, I will go strong. Mansfield would love to put one over on us and shouldn't be taken lightly. The counter to that, though, Mark, is, and look, you never want to get beat, ever. I don't care what competition. I don't care if it's Milk Cup. I'm not bothered. You don't ever want to get beat. But does going out of this competition significantly harm our season? I don't think it does. I think it knocks us in terms of it's a defeat, and that shakes momentum completely. But do you want to go far in the competition? I suppose that's another discussion, isn't it? Because it can help momentum, but we've struggled with fitness for a lot of our players this season. So, interesting chat, and there's a reason for going strong as well, I'll give you that. Bryce says he'd go strong to make up for the missed game. Mansfield have been a bit of a bogey team for us in the past in FA Cup games. Alessandro says, I'd rotate, but not too much, simply as the league is more important. Some rotation should be enough to still get the job done while showing enough respect to Clough and Mansfield. Up the blades, up the Ramble. Yes, it's the return of Nigel Clough. I would have shown you that had I prepared the screen in the appropriate way. But you know what you're getting when you tune into Blade Ramble. Up the blades. But yeah, Nigel Clough returning did a great job for Sheffield United. Really enjoyed watching us under Cloughie. And hopefully he'll get a fantastic reception when he comes back. I'm sure he will. Andrew says, I think CW will make wholesale changes. He'll give the Stags a goal start by playing Davis in goal. Harsh. Defence will be defence striking. McGuinness, Bindon, Siriki, I think that'll be with a typo. Sariki, McGuinness, Bindon and Burrows. Midfield, Samari, Ollie, Brooks and Hamer. Strikers, Ings and Campbell. Interesting. Are you guys in TP on Sunday? Weather and undersoil heating permitting. I will not be making Triple Point on Sunday, unfortunately. I am otherwise engaged, but I would not like to give you false information that I will be there, because I'm not going to be there on Sunday. Could be Duke's farewell though, Jim. I hope not, says Bright. Do we think Pat Bamford signs for Sheffield United? I think he stays. I'm confident he stays. I have been all along. No ITK. I think he stays. I'm confident he stays. And I'm obviously really hopeful he does as well. Rotation is a given, says Luke. Whether that's fringe, youth, or a combination of both. But I'd love to see Faxon. We know what Davies offers. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'd give Faxon a punt too, says Bry. Alessandro saying Faxon over Davies. That's interesting. Maybe if we get Hoover in, he might play right back and see what he's about. Give him some game time too. If we get Hoover in, like I'm expecting it, could even be tonight that he's announced. If not, it'll be tomorrow. That means he'll be signed in time to play on Sunday. He will, if it's done like I expect it to be done, he will play on Sunday. I'd be amazed if he doesn't. So yeah, that's exactly what will happen, Cal. He will be involved and probably start. Evening, Jimmy, says Ian. I'll let you off as I wouldn't have known it was Reed had you not mentioned it. I know, little Louis Reed, 16-year-old, I think, when he made his debut for United. So for those that are just joining, that's Louis Reed in the thumbnail, ex-United midfielder. Done a good job for Mansfield as well. They really like him there, apparently. Carl says, shame the copy's shut. It always diminishes the spectacle at the lane. But well to the stag for selling all their well done to the Stags for selling all their tickets. Absolutely right. WBA 1 says, my week has been better than ever. Ryan Mason has been sacked. Eric Ramsey is a Baggies manager. Okay, very good. I know Mason's been sacked. Who do you want? Who do you want? Is the I don't think Ramsey's been appointed. Has Eric Ramsey been appointed permanent? I don't think he has. Who would you want to come in? Will Still's been rumoured to be going in at Oxford. Interesting. This league is in trouble, says WBA 1. Carl says, shame more blades aren't turning out, but it always diminishes the spectacle when the copy's shut. Well, and well done to the Stags for selling all their tickets. I think you're just sort of reiterating your point from earlier. So, yeah, apologies. I were a little bit unprepared for tonight's stream. I thought I was more in front than I was, but obviously we've had a busy day today, and we've got some really good stuff coming for you on the channel. So I'm excited to be able to share that with you. I think I've got to the bottom of the issues that were caused today by, just happenstance, really. But it wouldn't be the Ramble without any issues, would it? So there you go. We'll be here for a watch along. Not me, I'll be at the game, but we're here on Sunday. Jordan Motson is going to lead it, I think, and be joined by one of our Platinum Ramblers, yet to be named. I think, as I say, it might be Man Mountain, but we'll have to wait and see. A lot of us will already be at the game. I'll be back for 90 after 90. It won't be an after party because I'm with my girls, so I'm coming straight home, and I'll be here for 90 after 90 as per. I'll be doing Hot Off the Presser tomorrow. So next on BUILDERS Ramble, you will see me. Unless there's a Kijani Hoover announcement, I might come on and do a live if people want it. But we'll be looking at Hot Off the Presser tomorrow. And right now, at 7:30 in 25 minutes, we're over on Ramble FC on Football Therapy, talking about the greatest football turnarounds. So we've picked this, or I've picked this subject, if I'm honest. Picked this subject, and we're going to talk about teams who have recovered what seemed to be a terrible season for them at some point. So there is a little bit of selfishness behind it, because we all want to believe that Sheffield United can make something of this season. And we're going to talk in depth about a couple of teams in years gone by, one might include Sheffield United, that have been able to turn around their seasons from a terrible start, and hopefully it might make a few of us believe a little bit more. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, do join us at 7:30 in 25 minutes over on Ramble FC for that. Let's see the final comments coming in. Going back to the Cardiff game last year, it was embarrassing whether we want to go further or not, says Matt. Yes, it was. Yeah, we're at 2-0. Eric Ramsey's been appointed as Albion's manager. Is that permanently, though? WBA 1. Is that a permanent appointment? And I'm not. Like, he may be a very good coach. It's a lot different being a manager, isn't it? Nige says, evening, pal. I get the bench playing. Heyman needs minutes and will hopefully help pick his game up. Hopefully, and a great reception for Clough was fantastic for us, and some great memories in the cup. Absolutely right. And Batman Lou says, evening, mate, just got home. That's a fine-looking haircut. Up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Wait till you see who's done it as well, pal. Right, well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you over on Ramble FC very shortly. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Of the Blades!